Let's get back to the periodic table and look at an interesting element. Element number 15, which has a P that stands for phosphorus. Phosphorus is not an alkaline metal or a metal. It's a chemical that's formed in white or red. Both of these are very reactive, and anything you do to them, they will have a reaction. But white phosphorus is much more reactive. First, let's take a quick history lesson. This chemical was never discovered throughout human history, but when we get to the year 1669, a German alchemist by the name of Henning Brand used to mix everything together to create gold and silver, and he's the one that names this special element phosphorus. Phosphorus was the name for Venus in ancient Greece. So how did this alchemist discover it? Just like we said, he was an alchemist and he was experimenting with everything. So he even experimented with his own urine, and he realizes that inside his own urine there was a special element that he has never seen before, and when he purified it, he had something called phosphorus. Yes, inside our body there is phosphorus, and when our body filters the fluid, there is some leftover phosphorus that comes into your urine. Just like we said, there's two forms of phosphorus, which is mainly red and white. Red is reactive, but not as reactive as the white one, because the white one is truly violent. Throughout the discovery of phosphorus, it has been used in different wars, and you could count it as an incendiary. In the 19th century, the Irish were the first one to use these types of bombs against the British. When the English realized how truly powerful these equipments can be, they started putting white phosphorus in all types of military weapons. You could see white phosphorus in British bullets, all the way to mortars and bombs. In World War I, the British Army, with the help of the Arabs, of course with the help of white phosphorus, they were able to easily defeat the Ottoman Empire. When you light white phosphorus on fire and the flame starts, it's extremely hard to put out. You can put it out by putting a container, but when you remove it, the flame shoots up once again. The only time that it would stop is when the white phosphorus ends, or when you drench it in water. But if you pull it out of the water, the flame will start back up again. It is truly an unbelievable element, and that is why it was used in plenty of wars in the 19th and 20th century. If a small piece of white phosphorus gets on your skin, it will burn very bad, and if you don't get it off your skin, which is extremely hard, it will continue to burn, and maybe it will even kill a person. Most of the phosphorus we found in our body is inside the bones and our teeth. But when you pull out this element and turn it into white phosphorus, it turns into one of the most dangerous things on earth. And even the fumes can kill a person. From one side, it burns you to death, and from the other, it suffocates you, because the fumes are extremely dangerous to breathe in. In World War II, not only was white phosphorus used against the enemy and dropped on top of them, but it was also used to fool the enemy. They would set a whole section on fire, create a massive smoke screen, and basically flank around into the behind of the enemy. And this was a genius tactic to use inside the battle, because the enemy didn't know where you went. We all know how matches look like. That iconic red power on the tip is made from red phosphorus, and with the help of a sticker on the matchbox, it lights up. If you want to turn it on in any other way, it doesn't have enough heat and friction, and it will eventually break off. But there are some types of matches that have a white tip. That's the white phosphorus. And that's what you find in strike anywhere matches. Even if you put it on a wall, it will light up. With the help of matches, you could see the difference between red phosphorus and white phosphorus, and how much more reactive white phosphorus is. Usually, strike anywhere matches have a better container and more special, because if they actually strike somewhere against themselves and light up, you might see a semi-truck with full of these on fire. Another thing we all use and have somewhere, and you can't believe that it has phosphorus, is fire extinguishers. Not in every type of fire extinguisher, but there are a few of them that are mixed with other elements, and they create the fire extinguisher we all know. When you mix phosphorus with bromine and nitrogen, and you will get a very healthy fire retardant. You have probably heard of fertilizer with phosphorus in it. The most used phosphorus in the world is used in fertilizers. And of course, in the fertilizer, it has to be mixed with other elements to make it work beautifully. This is kind of when we understand how important chemistry is in the world. Experts believe that if you don't have phosphorus fertilizers, you can say goodbye to modern farming, because the amount of technology and the amount of produce that comes from modern technology, a lot of it is thanks to phosphorus. White phosphorus is kind of like a magic material for a farm. It makes the plant stronger in every way. It makes the roots stronger. It makes photosynthesis more powerful. And when you put all that together, it causes the plant to grow more fruits and goods. Another industry phosphorus is used is in the steel mill. They mix phosphorus with steel to make it less prone to rusting, not to make it stronger. Because to make steel stronger, they mix carbon and iron together to create a very strong bond, but they add phosphorus to make it anti-rust. Until recently, in plenty of countries, you would see phosphorus used in laundry detergent, and it actually made the clothes cleaner. But scientists realized that this material is actually not good for your skin. So in a lot of countries and few states in America, they removed phosphorus from laundry detergents. In the 13th century, the alchemists in the Middle East had already figured out and worked with phosphorus, and they called it the devil's element. But since it was such a violent element and hard to work with because it would catch on fire with any type of heat, they decided not to work with it, and that's why they named it the devil's element. Just like we said, you can find phosphorus in our body, and in an adult, there is about 750 grams of phosphorus. So what happens if we don't have enough phosphorus in our body? Yes, it happens because some people have low phosphorus levels, and the side effects can be terrible because you can have low appetite. It will create anxiety, bones might start hurting, and alongside all that, it gets weaker and weaker, and a lot of other types of pains will come and haunt you. Low phosphorus levels can easily be fixed, but the first thing required to do is talk to a doctor to make sure if you're lacking phosphorus, or it could be something else. In our video about stress, we explained if you have low vitamins or if you have problems with your thyroids, there is a high chance that you're struggling with something simple, like having anxiety for no reason. It could all be fixed with a simple blood test, and it all starts by talking to your doctor. Just like we said, white phosphorus has been used in plenty of wars in history, but nowadays they have even made more modern version of this weapon, and even though you're a war criminal and it's illegal to use in a warfare, militaries have still made it and use it to this day. But when has that ever stopped any military from using illegal weapons? Where can we find the main mine of phosphorus? The number one mine that contains 75% of the phosphorus is in Morocco. They're not the #1 producer though, because the #1 producer of products that are made from phosphorus, like fertilizers and stuff, is in China, and Morocco only exports phosphate, not phosphorus. The phosphate that comes out of Morocco, it's not pure, so it's $350 a ton, and the price has gotten lower because 15 years ago, in 2008, the price of phosphate was $450 a ton, so Morocco took a huge hit. If you want to buy phosphorus, where can you buy it? You can't really buy pure phosphorus. If it's available, they don't sell it to everybody. But a small example of white phosphorus that only can be used in a laboratory costs about $238. And a normal person cannot buy this until they get clearance on why they need it and where they want to use it. So what do you guys think of this element?